Man, I've been thinking about this one for a little while, and I'm ready to talk about it. And that's what I'm referring to is Chris Borland. Chris Borland, the athlete who at 24 years old is now retired from the NFL, played 1 year for the 49ers, and he decided he wanted to retire because he was concerned about his health going forward. And that's all well and good, man. If that's what you want to do, then that's what you want to do. I'm cool with that. Do you? But stop killing the NFL. It's like every time I'm like still seeing this dude's name in the headlines, you know, weekly, and it's always because something negative that he's saying about football in the NFL. Come on, man. Come on. You don't have to go and start bashing the game that has done so much for so many people. Okay? It's done so much for you included, and you had to go and open your mouth and say what you said about what Chris Carter said about at the rookie symposium that happened over a year ago, and you didn't use his name, but we all know that those things like that recorded. It's very easy to figure out what you were talking about, who you were talking about, and who said what. It's very easy. And if you don't have the foresight to understand that, then I don't know. Maybe you're just not that bright. But for you to go and say what you said, and now you shed this light onto what Chris Carter said about having a fallback guide to the rookies at the symposium last year. I don't think anybody really cares. I think the NFL cared. I think the NFL cared because they've been under fire so much because of their image lately with some of the scandals that have gone down with the Deflate Gate and how they look in that. And y'all notice how I've been talked about that. I'm sure you're tired of hearing about Deflate Gate because so am I. But the way they've handled that, the way they handled the Ray Rice situation, Adrian Peterson, all these different things, they've kind of been under fire for the past couple years. So now anything that comes out that's deemed as, ill, just messed up, anything negative on the NFL, they try to distance themselves from it. Becomes a bigger deal than it should be. We understand that Chris Carter maybe shouldn't have said those things and all that, but is it really that big of a deal? Do you really care? Like you fans out there, do you really care that Chris Carter said that to these rookies, or are you just ready for football to start in September and ready to see your team in action? I think that's really what you care about. Because now Chris Carter's out here, he's kind of on an apology tour, having to explain himself. We all love Chris Carter for the most part. Most of us love Chris Carter. Good dude. He went through a lot in his career. He's got himself, pulled himself up. Got to be a Hall of Famer now, and they have this guy speaking at these rookie symposiums because of his experiences. And from what I've heard, he's usually spot on, and his insight is just so great that that's why they have this guy come back and do it year after year. He has a great story and he has great insight and he's a great inspiration. So he slips up one time and it turns into this whole big thing. And I don't think it's a big deal because I really don't think you care. You fake care because everybody always wants something to be upset about and get outraged about in the moment. So you can start your slander on Twitter, start your memes or whatever. I love the memes, by the way. I love when anything happens and then a barrage of memes comes forth and I can just sit on my phone or my computer and go through memes and laugh and laugh and laugh. It's really awesome, actually. But in this case, with Chris Carter, I just think the whole thing is stupid. I think the whole thing is stupid, and it just needs to go away. Let Cris continue to do his job, because when he's on the NFL Network, when he comes and talks on ESPN, when he co-hosts Mike and Mike, when he's doing the pre-game shows for football, he's great. He's phenomenal. I don't care about this. I don't think you care about this. So what are we doing? What are we doing here? And all thanks to Chris Borland, because he wanted to open his mouth up, and he's been going on this tirade, killing the NFL and everything, talking about he didn't appreciate those comments. Well, whatever, guy. It's not going to impact you now. Move on with your life. Just move on with your life. While you're taking, I just heard he was recently on a trip, took a European vacation. Hmm. I would love to take a European vacation. Probably would be able to if I had made some money off of being in the NFL. And now I'm retired. I got some extra time on my hands. But I still have a lot of the money that I made from my years in the NFL. So I'm gonna take the whole family on a European vacation. And football has also put you in a position to where now that you've decided you can retire, you could probably go out and try to chase something else that you want to do. Chase another dream. Use the education that you got at Wisconsin, because you spent 4 or 5 years at Wisconsin that was also gifted to you by football. You just go ahead and you can continue to live your life and do your thing. So everything that football got you is great, and you're going to take full advantage of while you're sitting here still killing the sport at every chance you get. And now you got guys like DeAndre Levy, who's one of the best linebackers in the league, in my opinion, who just got paid about 33. Like, he can make about $33 million between 2016 and 2019. $33 million, DeAndre Levy. And I just read an article recently talking about, he thinks it's admirable what Chris Borland did. They both went to Wisconsin together. He thinks it's admirable what he did, and he's thinking about the long-term impact himself and all that. And uh, he says all that like the NFL didn't just get through going through a lawsuit with former players who were talking about and outlining, highlighting the dangers, the long-term effects of football. NFL had to pay out this huge settlement. Like, this just happened. But now that Chris Borland has decided to retire early, and he's going on this tirade destroying the NFL, now all of a sudden you're thinking about the long-term effects. But he also said, but he wouldn't do it himself. So what are we doing here? What are we doing here? But he wouldn't do it himself because he knows and understands all the things that football has afforded him, and you only have a short period of time to do it, and this and that. So what are we doing here, DeAndre, with those comments? Just let it ride. Don't answer, man. There's no need for this. There's no need for this. You know, it just drives me crazy. I just hate the unnecessariness of it all, because that's what I think it is. Chris Borland, according to ESPN senior writer, his name is and excuse me, I'm most likely not going to get this whole name correctly. Mark Wada. He is a senior investigative writer for ESPN. He said that Chris Borland doesn't want to be the face of the anti-NFL movement. Well, if that's the case, then shut up and go away. This guy said, and I'm paraphrasing this quote, the Chris Borland's quote. He said, "It is. I don't want to use dehumanizing because that's kind of extreme, but when you're on the bottom of a football pile fighting for a football, it's kind of dehumanizing." Why? I don't even understand that train of thought. And please explain further how playing the game that you love, that's afforded you. This is a part of the game, and nobody forced anybody to do any of this. How is it dehumanizing? Explain that to me. I want to know. I'm honestly asking. And if you have a comment, anybody who's listening, go comment section. I'll read them. Yes, definitely. I want to know. How is that dehumanizing? Because I don't agree with that at all. And I don't agree with Chris Borland going out here or on this rampage every week. Something new to say about the NFL. Look, just fade to black, man. Just fade to black.